just wanted to cover today, how to leverage your strengths to create a personal brand. Such an eye-opener for me around 2006, 7, and 8, somewhere in that area. It's about knowing who you are, what you do, and the value that you bring out to the marketplace. Yes, I do real estate and mortgage and everything else. I'm kind of in that realm, but I'm going to give you kind of my past experience and how I discovered, identified, and then actually leveraged my strengths to create that personal brand. So when I first started back in the industry back in '99, I had an opportunity to work for a local brokerage company. And I'm a big planner. I even have a seminar called The Power of Question-Based Planning. And I kind of found out that I was able to leverage some of the strengths that I had, but I didn't exactly know where and how I can harness them. So I started off originating loans. And then I went to I owned a training and consulting firm back in 2006, 7, and 8. And we helped loan officers and realtors get their 15 hours of required education to keep their license here in the state of Minnesota. So, but here's how I found my strengths. If anybody was in the real estate industry, probably around 2008, 9, 10, you kind of knew that there was a major issue with the housing market, or the mortgage meltdown is what it was. So I'm going to use my personal experience and kind of give you the opportunity and how you can discover again your strengths and leverage those to create a personal brand. So what happened is I started the mortgage industry. We were riding really, really, high on very busy purchase business, refi business. It was just a crazy time in the industry. Well, unfortunately, back in 2008, we took a turn, as I mentioned before. And things got real difficult for me in my life and my business. And we had this training firm. We trained in 1,300 loan officers in a 6-month period. So we went from having 50 to 60 people in a seminar down to 2 and 3 because no one was getting into the business. So I had to do something different. Went through some challenges about MinPro. We had to kind of make different pivots and everything else. Unfortunately, with the meltdown, we had to move in a different direction, or I had to move in a different direction. So here I am. I am out looking for actually my next career, next gig. And so what happened is how it was a real struggle. It was a personal struggle for me. Not knowing kind of where I belong. Didn't know a lot of my strengths at that point. If somebody asked me a question, what are your top strengths? I had no clue. I was going through a challenging time and looking for different things to do. Well, I had a local church in Stillwater, and they had a person on staff that was able to help me start my resume, understand where I need to go and how to really promote myself to get going in my next career. The book that really changed my life is the book called Now Discover Your Strengths. And you can find Now Discover Your Strengths or Strength Finder 2.0. There's a lot of different strength finders out there, but it was completely eye-opening for me. Truly eye-opening for me. So we went through this exercise, and you take the assessment in this book, and I really discovered a lot of phenomenal strengths that I guess I really didn't have or didn't know I had. So when I did the exercise, it was my top 5 strengths came up as communication. I like to write. I like to speak in public. I'm an includer. It means I like to include everybody. In obviously widen the circle and have everybody participate. Ideation. I love to come up with ideas. And so that was another strength, and I'll discuss that a little bit later here how I leverage these strengths to create different things that I was successful in the business. Positivity. I'm a very positive person. and a developer. I see I see really potential in everybody I come across. And so those are the top 5 strengths that I have. It was really eye-opening for me. But what happened is most people know more about their challenges and their strengths. So I thought it was great. It was awesome. You know, here's who I am. Here's the value that I bring. But then again, life got in the way, and there was challenges ahead. So I was on a continued basis of looking for new work, you know, trying to get back up, doing certain things that I wanted to do. So I got a call from one of our past clients from MinPro, which we did a commercial class for them, and they were actually looking to see if I knew of somebody with networking that would be wanted to take part of the marketing team at this particular company. It was a title company. That was my first entrance in the title. And so I'm like, sure, I've been in the business for quite some time, you know, kind of figure out how I would sell this and go through that process. What I found out real quick on the title side, because I was mortgage and I was training and all sorts of stuff, is that when it came to title and the title process, we're really similar in what we do. All the different companies out there, what we do is very, very similar. So I had to think to myself, how can I create a unique selling proposition, and how can I create a personal brand for myself? How do I stand out from the crowd? Well, as I mentioned before, most of the time when people use the Strength Finder or they go through and they identify their strengths, they put them in a drawer. And that's exactly what I did, is I put it in a drawer and really never really looked at them for about a good year or so. And so what happened was, and this was kind of a huge light bulb moment for me. And it was just kind of weird how it happened. I sat down and I figured I wanted to grab my strengths out of the drawer, which I did, and said, how can I leverage these strengths to create that personal brand? And how can I leverage my strengths to, bring value to other people? And so I sat there and thought about it, and I read through my strengths over and over again. I really dived in and started thinking, okay, so my top strength again is communication. All right, so I like to write, I like to speak, I like to communicate. I'm an includer. I really want to include everybody into the process. Stretch the circle wider. And then ideation. The ideation was, I sat there and thought, how can I create something different? Well, right away it just popped in my head. I created it and I said, listen, what if I created an educational seminar that would really help people grow their business? Then they get to see who I am, what I do, and the value that I bring, and get to know me as somebody that they can lean on to help them grow their business. So I sat there and I started jotting down a whole bunch of notes and really started working through it. Well, what came out of that is my current seminar that I have is the power of question-based planning. It was a business planning seminar, but filled with lots of marketing ideas and lead generation for your business, database management. Again, included in here is leveraging your strengths, and how you can be unique in the marketplace. So it was a really eye-opener. I was just like, wow, if I didn't pull those strengths out of the drawer, I don't know where I would be today. Because right now, I teach people how to work 90% through their strengths. We always get that question is, hey, listen, you need to work on this. You need to work on this. Or you need to get better at that. And my question is, why? I know, for example, I'll give you an example here currently right now. When we talk about our strengths, our challenges, opportunities, and threats, that's the old SWOT analysis, or what I call SCOT analysis, is challenges. Because I don't like the word weakness, because anytime somebody says weak, it kind of shuts you down. I like challenges because you can overcome challenges. So I took that information, and so, for example, like challenges, I'm not really good at social media. I'm not good at it at all. So why do it? Why do it? I outsource those challenges to other people that leverage their strengths that they're really good at. So those are the big things, is outsourcing your challenges. Now, if lead generation is a challenge and you're in sales, you might want to make that a strength. So, or really work on that. But there's always an exception to the rule. But there's a lot of things that I'm challenged with. I come up with great ideas. I come up with, I leverage my strengths to come up with great ideas, communicate, classes and everything else. But I need somebody that's going to help me get to the finish line. So have the ideas going and flowing, but I always got to lead on somebody that has that strength. That's like an activator to be able to get me to the finish line. So when I created that seminar, it was the first thing, the first class I ever developed. I went out, actually got, realtors and loan officers involved, and really started building the business based on a give, grow, gratitude attitude. Really giving first, so people can, again, see who I am, what I do, and the value that I bring. And in return, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to present to them, and grateful for the opportunity to be able to do business with them in a business relationship. Because a lot of times, sometimes I can just go out and get a title order, come in, right in. But this is a long-lasting, proven building relationship with my customers. So they see me as a resource and everything else on different things I've done. So I got in that phase, and then all of a sudden, I've been now, which carries me right now to 12 years in the title business. So again, as you mentioned, Mark, 22 years in the business, in going to a different company, Ancona Title and Escrow, which I've been here for 9 years this month. So, but not only I used my strengths in leveraging business, but now I've created at least I got 4 different seminars that I created based on the knowledge of what my strengths are. Okay, so when we go through the planning process, again, as I mentioned, we talked about, most people know as a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. I call them challenges, as I mentioned before. But we started coming up with different ideas, different seminars, like the power of question-based planning, the power of question-based selling, again, leveraging your strengths to create a personal brand. And it changed my life dramatically. I went from, the company I'm with right now, Ancona Title, I started here, and I was the only salesperson. And we had 13 employees. By leveraging my strengths, knowing who I am, what I do, and the value that I can bring to the company and bring to our clients, we used these methods of working through our strengths the majority of the time, to having 13 people in one office location, to growing it within 9 years to 80 plus employees and over 10 office locations across the Twin Cities and St. Cloud area. So people, like when I do these seminars too, I'll sit and I'll ask people, okay, what are your strengths? And the room gets pretty quiet, because again, we know more about our challenges than our strengths. So again, I leverage my strengths, and I help people do that because it's much easier to work on something that you're passionate and love to do than take time to have to improve yourself on something that you're not good at, that somebody else, maybe within the company or the sales team, can really help you out with and leverage their strengths. So it's been I suggest everybody, if you have the opportunity to take the time to get the Strength Finder 2.0, or Now Discover Your Strengths, or any type of Strength Finder activity, I highly suggest it, because once you understand, it takes time too, by the way, to really identify and really get into the details. And it also will tell you who kind of partners up with you on different strengths. So again, my strengths are communication, developer, includer, ideation, positivity, but I really connect well with an activator to help me get things to the finish line, as I mentioned earlier in the session. So changed my life. It changed the opportunities that I had going forward, because there's nothing better than being able to understand who you are, what you do, and the value you bring. It's been a fantastic journey so far, and we're creating more opportunities, and we're creating more ideas, and we definitely leverage that into our marketing. of our company. So it's a phenomenal. Once you discover it, it's pretty life changing. It's pretty life changing. So that's pretty much it there. I mean, so hopefully there are some nuggets there that you can kind of take away and understand that how you can increase your sales, your business, by understanding who you are, what you do, and the value you bring. And obviously working through a give, grow, gratitude attitude is something that's, again, that we have the principles based on our sales team, based on our company, of that philosophy.